Oh man, just having the soundboard on when that's playing just gives a whole nother feel, just gives a whole nother vibe, to the stream here. It just makes me go even harder. You feel me? It just makes me go even harder when this whole thing starts. But hold on, still trying to get my post out, letting everybody know that we are live and ready to go. Live on Facebook, live on YouTube, live on Twitch. Also got to go on Instagram, tell everybody that we're live as well. Your boys are on stream, looking good, feeling good, and man, we got a whole lot to get into. We got a whole lot of predicting to get into, and I just know now these, at least for WrestleMania, those predictions are subject to change. Like WrestleMania, subject to change because of course we still have the go home show. We still have Monday, and I'm not going to talk about Tuesday, but we still have Monday and Friday to get through. So, of course, my predictions, I think, are subject to change here. But I still want to get my predictions out on what days, of course. Looking at it from Bleacher Report as well. Bleacher Report is predicting the days that the matches are going to land. And honestly, there are a couple that I have a problem with, and I think those are great to have a conversation with. So I want to get into that as well. But let me just get this last one out of here, letting everybody know that. Well, let me see. Post a link too. Yeah, let's get the link in there. We are live. There it goes. We are live. Get up in here expeditiously. There it goes. Yeah. I can't move the little button over. I be struggling. I got little fat little thumbs. I be struggling to like move the little letters over. But look, we're live. We're ready to go. Hello, all, and welcome to the Heel Turn Podcast. I'm your host, Isaiah Jackson Jr. And man, we are gonna have some fun today, man. We got to get into because we had a fun this last week of wrestling was a whole lot of fun. And I'm talking WWE, AEW, even AAA. We won't talk about AAA today, but it's like because we got too much to get into right now. But it's been a great week of wrestling. This past week, and it was a whole lot of fun. It definitely is a great way to lead to Mania and a great way to lead it to AEW Dynasty as well. And I think I want to start off with AEW Dynasty. I think I want to start off with the predictions for that. Of course, that's taking place tonight at 8 o'clock Eastern Standard Time. So be on the lookout for that. Who is in here? Of course, is none other than the boy, Justin, of course, the Redeemer, the boss. How is you living, my brother? How is you living, my guy? Man, and if for those, if you haven't, follow this man, Justin. Not only follow him on social media, subscribe to him on YouTube, and subscribe to Circle of Debate. That's where you'll find him. Hell, you can find him anywhere. You can find this man absolutely anywhere. Say his name and he appears. Man, he's scared. He's more scarier than a Joe Hendry. He won't lose in the NXT title. It's like he won't lose in the NXT title at all. It's like huge shout out to Justin, man. Just an absolute legend, an absolute dog. And I was so mad. I was so pissed that last night I was working. I work from 1 to pretty much, it's like 1 to midnight on Saturdays, and then I go back in 3 to kind of like 3 to 10, 3 to 11. But it just depends on who shows up. That's a long story. But even that on Saturdays, I was coming off of work and I was like, man, that was actually a great UFC pay-per-view. I go on YouTube and Circle of Debate was live. I was like, oh my goodness, I didn't even know that they did UFC watch parties. Like, and it was so dope. It looked so cool. Then of course I saw the OPC, the devious one, Ivan, as well. I definitely got to get into the principal's office with him. Huge shout out to Justin. Much love as always, my guy. Like I said, man, I can't wait to tee up with you guys at the watch party. Of course, I'm gonna be. That's a long story. I'll speak it into existence a little bit later. It's like I'll talk about that a little bit later. But I'm gonna be with the family watching WrestleMania, and of course I'm gonna have you guys on the side with us. It's just gonna be a nice little party, a nice little niche party. It's like you guys aren't here, but you're there. It's like type deal. Huge shout out to Justin. Joe Hendry popped out of a fridge once on NXT. You don't want me popping out of your fridge. Exactly. That's the last thing you want to see is Justin popping out of your fridge. Exactly. You're going to get sideways slammed. I was like, that you're going to get sideways slammed immediately. I don't know. I think, Justin, you're more of an end of days type of guy. It's like you're reaching for the cheese, on the top shelf. After making, I was making the hamburgers earlier, so that's why I was thinking of cheese. But you're reaching for the cheese. Your arm gets grabbed just by the claws of Justin, reaches over, of course, he hits you with the finisher end of days, and you're just absolutely done for. Only one person that was able to kick out. Y'all heard that too, right? Like y'all heard that too, right? I thought it was something downstairs. I was about to get the running. I was like, oh man, not on stream. Like, don't do this to me on stream. Like, but I was like, y'all heard that too. But I think it's just a little bit of construction going on out there. But huge shout out to Justin. Huge shout out to Circle of Debate. And huge shout out to the guys as well. And huge shout out to Justin. Love the end of days as the finisher. I'll take it. Man, a huge shout out to Justin, man. You guys put in great work over there at Circle of Debate. And like I said, I can't wait to get to Ivan, because Ivan, the devious one, it sounded serious. You know, it's like it sounded a little serious when he said he wanted to talk. But I'm choking on this Klondike bar that I had a little earlier. But AEW Dynasty, of course, the 2026 card for today. In 0 hour, Alex Windsor taking on Marina Shafir. And honestly, even though I love me some Alex Windsor, Marina Shafir has just been another animal as of late. That mother's milk has just been relentless. You know, it's just like on the women's division so far. She's been put. She has no, and you know, no pun intended. She has this woman division at least on a mid card scale in a chokehold. You know, it's like she's not really bullying the likes of like a Chris Statlander. She's not really going up there and bullying people necessarily higher up in the ranks. Toni Storm, yes, of course. You've seen her go back and forth, but and Willow Nightingale as well. Okay, so maybe I am. So maybe I am tripping. It's like maybe I am tripping about Marina Shafir. No, Marina Shafir is definitely a dog, though. I definitely think Marina Shafir has a chokehold. I didn't want to say in the whole entire women's division, because there are women that are doing a whole lot better, like in terms of Thekla, like in terms of Willow Nightingale now. Let Marina Shafir try to choke out Willow Nightingale now. Willow Nightingale a whole nother animal. You just see her bouncing around, just a whole nother, like, it's like a light of confidence, man. There's a whole. It's just a brighter side of her, and that's what I really love to see in Willow Nightingale. But Marina Shafir is just a totally different animal. And then look, I think Justin says it right here. Marina has really gotten better and more intimidating since joining the Death Riders. Yeah, I fully agree. Her promos, I don't know. She's still Jon Moxley only cares about delivering pain. That is his only way of happiness. Like, okay, lady. Like, it's just like, okay, lady, calm down now. Calm down. You don't gotta we don't gotta take it this far, Marina. Like, it's just at least speak with a little bit of confidence, with some happiness. Dang, like, Jesus Christ, Marina. But huge shout out to Marina Shafir. I got her winning that match against Alex Windsor. The AEW World Tag Team Championship, FTR is taking on Cope and Cage. And this, look, they haven't built this up for what, 6 or 7 months, for Cope and Cage not to come back and win, honestly. If the Young Bucks wasn't going to come in and win, and the only reason why the Young Bucks didn't beat FTR was because they could finish off this storyline, and I definitely think Cope and Cage is coming out and winning this tag team titles and going on a mediocre run. I don't think they're going to be holding these titles for, a long period of time. I don't see Cope and Cage being a long-standing tag team either, honestly. So I do think Cope and Cage get the win over FTR. FTR has just been so stale, man. What happened? Like, what the hell happened to FTR? There was a point in time where FTR, they couldn't miss. And maybe that was and I ain't trying to, you know what? This might be a little bit of glazing. I'm sorry. This might be a little bit of glaze, but I feel like FTR has so much sauce when CM Punk there. And I ain't trying to glaze CM Punk.
Boing, boing.
Like, I ain't trying to glaze CM Punk like that, but I mean, I'm trying to be 100%. I definitely think that, CM Punk kind of gave them a little extra sauce, because even after CM Punk left, FTR still had the juice. FTR still had the colorful logos, and, still the traditional style, rough and tough ragdoll style wrestling that you love to see. And now it's watered down. It's a little dry. And nothing they're doing or saying is nearly as entertaining as they once did before. So FTR, you guys need a break. There's a point in time these guys are holding 3 belts, one belt on each shoulder and then one on the waist. Like, you could do no wrong with FTR, and they were like that for a long time. They were like that for a long period, about maybe 8 months, I want to say, if not 8 months, maybe 5-6 months, for a solid period. These guys were just absolutely unreal. But huge shout out to Justin. Lost so much interest in the Cope Christian and FTR feud because of how long of the gap for Cope and Christian to come back was. Definitely see new tag team champs tonight. Exactly. That's the stupid part. FTR been wrestling all this time. Edge, Cope, and Cage have literally just been sitting down, nursing themselves and Edge's or Cope's injured wife. It's just like they haven't even, I'm pretty sure they haven't even looked at a ring. It's like now they're going to come back and take the titles, and FTR just pretty much goes over and does absolutely nothing, and they should. FTR definitely needs to go home, and we need to miss them. How can we miss you if you don't go away? You guys need to take some time away. We need a long time, and not a long time, like maybe just a month and some change, of not hearing FTR's theme music, just taking a little break for them, and then them just coming in and, just having one-off matches, not getting into a feud, right away, just having them just be in and out. We don't need to see too much of them right now because it seems like we're sick of them, as it is. So honestly, Cope and Cage, and even then it's stupid as in itself because like I love Edge promo after Christian, I believe Christian was like, not only did you hurt Edge's wife, not only did you hurt Edge, but you hurt me. Most importantly, you hurt me. Like, and it's just like, okay, that's funny. Like, that's hilarious. But Edge goes in and says, hey, cameraman, come in. I want you to get all these wrinkles. You ruined our friendship. I was like, bro, you're 50. Like, don't do that. Like, don't do that. That absolutely killed me. He was like, bring the camera in. You ruined our friendship. I was like, dang, okay, it's okay. Well, understandable. And I get it. It's a long friendship. These guys have known each other, for a very, very long time. So it hurts deep. It runs deep. But man, when he started off with that, I was like, all right. I was like, you didn't sell me, but you cracked me up. I was like, you won me over with that, with just that one. So I was like, I'll give you that. So yeah, Kobe Cage are gonna be tag team champions. I'm pretty sure we're gonna see Beth Phoenix. I'm pretty sure we're gonna see Beth Phoenix tonight. I think I would be shocked if we don't. I feel like there's got to be a little bit of resolve coming out of her getting absolutely, beat down by FTR. So huge shout out to Cope and Cage. They're going to be new tag team champions. And we got the AEW Women's World Championship match. Thekla taking on Jamie Hayter. Oh, Justin. I don't want to talk about this match. Can we talk about something else? I want to talk about something else, man. I don't want to talk about this match. Thekla taking on Jamie Hayter. I'm sorry, Jamie. Oh, I'm sorry, Jamie. Oh, I have zero faith in you. Zero faith in you. I have zero faith in Jamie Hayter. Thekla getting this win here. Thekla has been on an absolute just dominating run. And not only just a dominating run, she's bullying people. Like, Thekla is out here bullying people. I believe I was on Circle of Debate when I was in the AEW watch party when she debuted, and I was so confused. And I do remember it always turns out to be Justin, man. It always turns out to be Justin. Stephanie Vaquer. What's her name? Persephone? It's like, man, I'm spacing on the name, but it was somebody else as well. And then but definitely Stephanie Vaquer, Tiffany Stratton as well. I do remember you talking about Tiffany Stratton, and I was just like, because at the time I wasn't watching NXT, and Devin was like, hey man, Tiffany Stratton could be something nice. And you and Devin were trying to talk me into Tiffany Stratton at the time. And then Thekla, Justin knows ball. Justin knows talent, man. You got, like, I'm sorry. You got to give him your props there. I got to give you your props there. I was like, because every time I see Justin like go nuts, I'm like, wait, who is Thekla? Who is this Thekla lady? Man, she walking in calling people bitches, choking people out, making people bleed. Like, she's over here just taking people's watches. It's just like robbing people. Like, she's over here just, I'm sorry, she bullying the women's division. Like, she's bullying the women's division, man. And I thought Chris Statlander had a good chance. Thekla, man, just beat the brakes off of her, man. Thekla got out of there with the quickness and not with the quickness. It was a hard fought match, but man, I'm sorry. Like, I gotta gas up Thekla, and like I said, I gotta give it to Justin. Justin knows ball, man. He sees talent. Stephanie Vaquer. I was like, who is this Stephanie Vaquer? Like, Izzy. I'm telling you. Like, Thekla, who's this Thekla? Izzy. Izzy, I'm telling you. You and Devin was like, Izzy. I'm telling like Tiffany Stratton. Like, it's just like, because at the time, I remember vividly that I was like, I was at that, I remember the talking point that I was like, oh, well, you got to be at the Rhea Ripley level. You got to be at a Bianca Belair level. If you're not at that level, you're just at the bottom. And it's just like, no, there's people that's coming up. And it's just like, nah, I didn't want to, it's like, I just didn't want to believe it. But huge shout out to Justin. Still feels too soon to take the title off Thekla. Hater Nation, I apologize. Oh, Justin, why would you? Oh, I don't want Jamie Hayter to go out like this, man. But damn it, I see it happening. Oh, man. I have zero faith. I have zero faith in Jamie Hayter at all. Huge shout out to Justin. Thekla has a cool factor like Penta. She definitely does. Like, she is just so smooth, so crisp. You love to hate her, and I mean, you don't hate to love her. I mean, it's just like you just love to hate her, and then you just love her automatically. Like she just can't do wrong. I don't think she could do any wrong at this point in time. Like, she can talk amazingly well. She can wrestle her ass off. Like, I mean, just an absolute. And she's been on an absolute warpath since coming into AEW. I can't think of anybody that came in the recent time, and I'm talking about in the recent time, like I want to say maybe 4 years. I can't think of anybody that's jumped into AEW like that and has went on just an absolute warpath like Thekla, just became that dominant. Because usually you see guys like Tommaso Ciampa, they'll get their nice pop, they'll win a title, they'll drop the belt, and then they're done. It's just like, and then the spark is done. The spark is over for him. And now, it's just like, man, Thekla, she came in and she hasn't stopped. It's just like, and I love every second of it, man. Thekla for the win over Jamie Hayter. Oh, man. And I love me some Jamie Hayter. Jamie Hayter lost in front of me, and I feel bad. Jamie Hayter is 1-1 with me in attendance. I got to let that be known. Jamie Hayter is 1-1 against me in attendance. She beat Queen Emanata, and she also lost to Chris Statlander. So, technically, I'm still considered a good luck charm in her eyes. I'm a 50-50 hero for her. Just call me Jamie Hayter's 50-50 hero. That's what it is. Huge shout out to Just from the Get Your Podcast, man. Yo, what's good, my guy? What's good, brother? How's you living, man? It's good seeing you, brother. It's good just hearing from you. You are just an absolute legend, bro. Just an absolute funny human being. I've been in Chicago for the past, I don't know how long. We got to find a way to see each other. It's like we got to find a way to link up at some point in time. But huge shout out to Just. If you haven't already, subscribe to the Get Your Podcast. I DM'd him. I DM'd this before, but I feel like he's just one of the most creative human beings, in terms of just podcasting and just how in terms of content creation. It's just like, oh, we're describing wrestlers based off foodies or how they would be based on if they're ordering food and whatnot. And it's just like, man, like Get Yo is just on point with the stuff. So this is like, I got to give a whole lot of love to Get Yo and the podcast itself. They are absolutely hilarious. I remember I popped onto the stream one day and they was like, yeah, so we got canceled. I was like, y'all got canceled. I was like, I know y'all wild, but what'd you say? Like, I was like, what did you say? That was just wild. And a huge shout out to Just, man. We just got to give a whole lot of love to Just. It's an absolute legend on the stream. And another legend as well, Devin, the Tribal Chief. Yo, happy Sunday, my dude. What's good, Devin, man? How's you living? If you haven't already subscribed to Devin, the Tribal Chief, my man be live streaming Monday, Tuesday, Friday. I don't think you'll be seeing him on Dynasty, but you'll definitely be seeing him on Mania, man, because I'm telling you, puts in great work 24/7. Streams are top tier streams, are high energy, and it's just you will not be disappointed at all. Even in the chat, his chat is on 10, like 90% of the time. His chat is on 1,000. So you got to give a whole lot of love to Devin, the Tribal Chief. And the great work, and it's organized. That's one thing I love about Devin, the Tribal Chief. It's organized as well, So you got to give love to him. Huge shout out to Get Yo. The 1,000% appreciate that. I was like, hold up, too many zeros, pal. I had to squint in, I had to go and lean in a little bit. It's like, but huge shout out to Get Yo, man. You guys are just mad entertaining. You guys know how to put on the show, and so that has to be known. That has to be voiced. And we show a lot of love here, man. We show a lot of the only hate that we will spew is if it's, during, our wrestling segments, and it's not necessarily towards the wrestlers themselves. It's not even towards the writing sometimes. It's mainly just what the hell do we see? It's like, what the hell is going on here? Oh, wait, hold up. Devin the Tribal Chief is streaming Dynasty. Tune in to Devin the Tribal Chief tonight. He will be streaming Dynasty. Circle of Debate will be streaming. Then we having a watch party as well for AEW Dynasty as well. It's going to be a whole lot of watch partying going on tonight. So be on the lookout for those amazing brothers. Either way, you're not going to be disappointed. Like, you're not going to be disappointed at all. Devin the Tribal Chief, what match are you looking forward to, brother? What match? Because I know, like, me, you, and Devin are usually on the same wavelength when it comes to AEW. It's not necessarily a hate towards it. We have a critique for it. We have a critique towards AEW. Sometimes it can come off as mighty heavy. As to the also that can come to the criticism to AEW fans as well. That we don't know ball, or we don't know what we're talking about, or in Devin's case, one AEW fan just told Devin, "Hey, you don't like extreme wrestling? You're gay." It's just like, hey, he was just like, "Hey, man, how about this? You had a problem with Jon Moxley doing extreme wrestling? How about this? You're just extremely gay." It's just like that was his comeback to Devin, and Devin was just like, I mean, I don't know what to say to this. Like, and I gotta find Devin's response to that, because that was hilarious. That was a funny time. that was a funny time in just content creating in itself. But Devin the Tribal Chief streaming AEW Dynasty. Circle of Debate streaming AEW Dynasty. You're having a watch party. Tune in to those watch parties. They are a whole lot of fun. Because I'm gonna be honest with y'all, there is no watch party happening here at the Heel Turn Podcast. Oh, your boy gotta work. I'm gonna be watching it, but I'm also be working as well. So I could give you my thoughts and opinions tomorrow after I do the Heel Turn 30 for Monday Night Raw. I'm gonna tell y'all. Let me tell y'all the two matches that I'm not gonna watch. How about that? I'm gonna tell y'all the two matches I'm not gonna watch for AEW Dynasty: Chris Jericho versus Ricochet. Why am I watching that? Like, there is no reason for me to watch Chris Jericho versus Ricochet, and I can give you two reasons. Number one, there's no reason for me to watch Chris Jericho. Number two, no reason for me to watch Ricochet right now. Because honestly, Ricochet can redeem himself. Right now, Ricochet is just stale. He's bland. He's boring. I think he tries too hard. And honestly, you can tell in his social media, tries way too hard to the point to where it gets himself in trouble. So Ricochet definitely shoots himself in his own foot. He definitely needs to take some time to figure out what he wants to do, as a heel. And right now, what he's doing it's cheesy. It's corny. And with Chris Jericho, everything he does and everything he's done as of late has been cheesy and corny. Chris Jericho hasn't put up a great match. No, solid. Let me stop that. Chris Jericho hasn't put up a good match in years. Like, let's be honest here. Chris Jericho hasn't put up a good match in years. I have zero expectation for this match, which is why I'm skipping it. Huge shout out to Devin the Tribal Chief. I'm looking forward to FTR versus Edge and Christian. Yeah, man. Edge and Christian for the win, man. Edge and Christian. Cope and Cage for the win. And I do love Christian's. I like Christian's character. I do like Christian's character because he's creative. He's funny with it. And so I don't have now outside of the banging mom stuff. I was just like, all right, that's a little corny. I was just like, that's a little cheesy. We getting your mama jokes here. It was like on AEW Dynamite on national television. I was like, that's kind of crazy. But honestly, I don't know. This is something that I'm not. Chris Jericho and Ricochet. Just going back to that. This is just something I'm not looking forward to whatsoever. Ricochet is gonna have to put up a fucking he's gonna have to put up Wilt numbers, for this match here, because I don't think Chris Jericho is gonna be the most how can I say this? Mobile. How can I say this? I don't think Chris Jericho is gonna be the most active in this match. Compared to Ricochet flying all over the place. Can Chris Jericho keep up? I don't think so. I definitely think Ricochet is definitely going to put up Wilt numbers. He got to put up Bam out of bio numbers at this point. So huge shout out to Chris Jericho and Ricochet. I ain't watching this match. The Young Bucks versus Okada and Takeshita. I can already see Takeshita and Okada kind of already blowing up already as a tag team. They already can't stand each other. They already can't get along. Why are they teaming up? Why are they still a thing? Why do we keep dragging this thing on when they could just already just run it back? Just run it back. Okada cheated. We seen it. I seen it right in front of my very eyes. I was just like, and the ref, oh man, I wish you guys got to see the video of the ref, because the ref, Like, you can tell he obviously, tried to distract himself. Like, it was so bad. Like, the way the referee got distracted, from Okada's attack, screwdriver attack. Oh, it was so cheap. It was so cheap. But, and that's the thing, like, and that's just, referee error. Happens in WWE, happens in AAA, happens in CMLL, it's like that is normal. But it was so bad. Oh, it was so bad. But I don't watch the Young Bucks. I'm sick of the Young Bucks. Young Bucks get on my last nerves. I always spew Young Bucks hate every time I open up this microphone talking about AEW. So I definitely think they're gonna win this match. I don't see Okada and Takeshita, what's the word? Coexisting. I don't see them coexisting at all. I don't see them coming together as a tag team. I see them blowing up. I see the Young Bucks winning this match. Actually, I don't see it because I ain't watching it. How about that? Well, we got Andrade taking on Darby Allin, of course, and they've already, I believe it was MJF and Kenny Omega already came to the agreement that if Darby Allin beats Andrade, he will be the first man to, he'll be the number one contender for the AEW World Championship, which I love. But I gotta give a huge shout out to Justin because I was watching Circle of Debate one day, and Justin, if you're still here, please correct me if I'm wrong. But and I'll bring this up to you again so you can correct me if I'm wrong. But Justin brought up how Darby Allin, on one hand, is always like, I don't need the title. The title doesn't make me. I'm Darby Allin. I just want to be, and on the other hand, it's like I need to be the face of AEW. I need to be the guy. I need to, like, he's talking on both ends of his neck, on both sides of his neck, and it don't really make sense. On one hand, he doesn't need to be the guy. He doesn't need the title to, be great, while on the flip side, he needs the title. He feel like he needs to be the face. He needs to represent AEW, and this is like, brother, what side of the fence do you want to be on, brother? It's just like, it don't make no sense. And it's kind of how, like, it's exactly how Pat McAfee was talking about CM Punk, and we'll talk about that a little bit later. But it's kind of similar to how Pat McAfee talks about CM Punk, because CM Punk is always like, hey, Pat McAfee, TKO, lower the ticket prices. I'm the man of the people. And it's just like, yeah, but I'm sorry, Saudi Arabia. And I don't really care about all that stuff. All that, I could care less about, the Saudi Arabia stuff and all that. And I'm talking about in terms of the WWE business side of things. That's none of my business, because these guys are getting paid a buku amount of money to go over there. And look, if you work for WWE and they say, hey, Isaiah, we paying you $1 million to go over to Saudi Arabia to do one show, y'all gonna be, Izzy, I hate you. Yeah, y'all gonna have to hate me, because I'm gonna be walking around with $1 million. What? So I look, when my opinions on them going to Saudi Arabia, I don't care for, but Pat McAfee clearly exposes how CM Punk also talks out of both sides of his neck. And we know CM Punk does, but we love it. It's like, but we still love him. We know that CM Punk, like, and I always explain it as CM Punk being like a coworker. I think CM Punk is a coworker that we know is really, really good at his job. We know if we ask him a question, he'll know it right off the bat. He is just amazing at his job. But damn it, we do not want to work with that brother. He takes his job far too seriously, and damn it, sometimes he could be a bit of a jerk. So it's like at that point in time, you're just like, nah, I could do without him. Like, CM Punk's that guy. CM Punk is that coworker that is great at his job, but you just don't want to work with him at that point in time. Huge shout out to Devin the Tribal Chief. I love how Pat called out CM Punk's hypocrisy. Yeah, exactly. Like, and that goes to even the biggest CM Punk fans. Like, we're all, like, I'm a huge CM Punk fan. Oh yeah, I forgot Devin the Tribal Chief. You're rooting for CM Punk's downfall. That's what it is. You're rooting for CM Punk's downfall. I forgot we're on two different sides of the fence here, brother. I forgot we're enemies in this argument. I forgot all about that. Tribal Chief. Oh, well. Look, I'm sorry. Sunday, I don't want to talk to you. Devin the Tribal Chief, you are my best friend. You are my brother until Sunday morning. That, brother, Sunday morning hit, no, I don't want to talk, especially if Roman win. If Roman win, I don't want to talk. I'm going to go on your stream, just hit you with the 3 dots. I'm going to just hit you with just nothing but just dots, just period points. I ain't going to say a word. Your boy going to be depressed for about a week straight, honestly. So huge shout out to Devin the Tribal Chief, man. And we had this conversation with Cody, like, literally a couple years ago, us going back and forth, Cody and Roman. And now look at this, Cody and Punk. But that's the thing. The difference is Cody, at least Cody at that point in time, like Cody could do no wrong. Like he was a baby face coming from AEW. Like we just wanted him to be great. And he wanted him to finish the story. CM Punk, we know CM Punk's history. And honestly, and Devin, please, I want to see your opinion here. I want to get your opinion on this. I fully believe that this is going to be a 2-star match. I don't know if I brought this up to you before, but I definitely see this being a 2-star match. I don't see this match being anything crazy, anything out of the ordinary, but I see this being a 2-star match, like a little bit above John Cena versus Cody of last year. Like the only difference is it's not going to be like a celebrity interference. Outside of that, yeah, 2-star match. The highest I'll give it 2.5 star. 3 maybe. It's just like, but I don't see this match being the greatest. Huge shout out to Justin. Darby has here it goes. Darby had a lot of us convinced that he was going to win the world title, but he chose Mount Everest. Now he needs to work back to that spot. And I'm out of the Pat McAfee stuff. They could keep that garbage. I fully agree with that. Even Cody saying that, hey, like everybody agrees that you should just go home. Like we all know. Like Cody is saying this stuff. That's the crazy part. Pat McAfee did all that stuff in the beginning of SmackDown last week. And then Cody Rhodes came out and lashed out about Pat McAfee and called him Logan Paul without muscles, yada, yada, yada. He wants to put himself into WrestleMania. And then it takes him a week later to say, oh, well, you're just a fan. And then he wants to point out his inconsistencies, all the stuff that the fans were pointing out online. It's just like, so Cody Rhodes is trying to think that, oh, well, like we're trying to show that Pat McAfee is just this fan and, he got his facts wrong about Randy Orton and we got to go back to the Attitude Era and Randy not be like, brother, we been knew this. You're just saying exactly what we're echoing. And that's not really, you're not gaining nothing out of that at all. You're not gaining nothing out of that. My favorite part about SmackDown was Randy leaning over to Jelly Roll. Come get your boy. That was my favorite part of SmackDown. Out of all that. Now, Pat McAfee's promo was awesome. I will say the beginning part of Pat McAfee's promo was awesome. But that was my favorite part. Randy's just looking down at Jelly Roll. Come get your boy. I got to get that. I got to clip that somewhere. I got to clip that. But we're talking about AEW. We're supposed to be talking about AEW here. What happened? But yeah, going back to Justice comments, Darby had a lot of us convinced that he was going to win the world title, but he chose Mount Everest. Now he needs to work up to that spot. Definitely agree with that. And I fully believe that. I fully believe that Darby needs to continue to work on having great matches because he had his chance. Why would you throw away a great opportunity, like a great story like that? And obviously Mount Everest, how many opportunities are you going to have to do that? But bro, you make a whole lot of money. I'm pretty sure you're going to have another opportunity to do that. It's like at some point in time, and so Darby, yeah, you had your chance. And that was when love for Darby was at an all-time high. Like Sting had just left. Sting had just left Darby. And Darby just started to get, that finally that push up. He finally got that push up that, he finally was deserving of. And then I don't know where he disappears for a long while. And then, of course, injuries as well. And then, of course, Gabe Kidd and the few. I wasn't really too much of a fan of the Gabe Kidd stuff, especially the way it ended. I was like, I definitely wasn't a huge fan of that. So Darby, I'm not gonna say you don't deserve it because he definitely does, but I don't know. I think the ship has sailed. The ship has definitely sailed, and Darby Allin winning the world championship. I do think he's still gonna win, but if he doesn't, I wouldn't be shocked, and I wouldn't necessarily be crying about it either. If he lost. We do have the Continental Championship. Jon Moxley taking on Will Ospreay. I don't see Will Ospreay coming back just to lose. But this is Jon Moxley we're talking about. This is Superman. It's just like this is bully Superman we're talking about here. Like Jon Moxley don't play games at all. So it's just like I don't know. This is a little tough. This is I think I'm gonna go Will Ospreay because especially after the crazy match that they had on Wednesday, where he's just pretty much getting his neck just absolutely blown up, and then gets up and then hits his finisher on Jon Moxley anyway. It's just like I don't know. Well, I love Will Ospreay matches until he turns into Superman. That's when I finally just completely give up. DDT to the back of the DDT. Will Ospreay is 8 DDTs. 1 kick out. Yep, I'm done. I'm done. Get me out of this. Get me out of this Will Ospreay match. I'm sorry. Like that's when Will Ospreay officially gets me out of his matches. Like, or a lot of the times where it's just like he lands on his head, pile driver, sleeper hold, picks him back up, pile driver. Will Ospreay reverses, hidden blade. Like, oh no, get me out of here. Get me out of here. Like, Will Ospreay has the recovery time of a freaking Viltrumite. You know, it's just like, for those that watch Invincible, I just started watching Invincible. I just finally caught up on it. But this man has the health of just a god here, Will Ospreay. So, and Jon Moxley don't sell for nobody. So this match is gonna be just gonna be an unstoppable force going up against an immovable object here. So honestly, I'm still gonna go Will Ospreay. I do think Will Ospreay gets the win here. Jon Moxley literally almost broke his neck, literally almost took him out of action, you know, kayfabe wise. So Jon Moxley has to suffer the consequences under Will Ospreay. So Will Ospreay, I hope he gets the win here today. AEW World Championship, MJF taking on Kenny Omega. I got MJF winning. Now, I don't see Kenny Omega winning this match at all. At all. Literally. And honestly, I love Kenny Omega in terms of the recent Kenny Omega. Like I said, I haven't been too keen on, not too keen. I'm not too I'm not too hip to his older matches. And that's my fault. I will do some more bigger research on that. Huge shout out to C Fluid. What's up, sir? What's good, brother, man? How's you living? Huge shout out to C Fluid, man. Living your best life. We're reviewing AEW Dynasty. Actually, just about done. But however, I do think MJF. Look, I think MJF is going to be your best bet at winning. I think he's healthier. Kenny Omega isn't looking to retire anytime soon. I don't think this is one of these like, you know, one more run type of deals. You know, Kenny Omega is going to be here to stay for at least a little bit longer. And I do think that at least MJF comes in here, of course, shows that he's the devil. I don't like this God versus the devil complex. And that's because that's mainly because I don't know Kenny Omega's past. You know, I don't know ball on Kenny Omega. So, you know, it's hard for me to be like, oh, well, I can't call this man a god. You know, it's like but so I do got MJF for the win. I do have MJF for the win. Huge shout out to Justin. Got Moxley winning. The story is Ospreay getting payback on the Death Riders, not the Continental title. If the match was for the title, I would have definitely said Ospreay. Yeah, that's true. That's definitely true. See, and that's why I'm just like, but I don't know. And then you got C Fluid Kenny with the upset win. Oh, see, I'm writing this down. I gotta write this. Matter of fact, I ain't gonna write it down. I'm gonna take a picture. How about that? You know, I'll just take a picture, make it easier. There you go. Because I gotta get our predictions out here. And huge shout out to Justin, Kenny, MJF retains. I got MJF retaining for sure. And man, Moxley winning. I definitely just want Moxley to drop this title already. I definitely want Moxley to drop the title for sure. Because even then, like, brother, like I'm sick of seeing you. Honestly, like the Death Riders were. Like them having a small little babyface run was cool. It felt like a small little breath of fresh air, but now they're just going back to doing the exact same thing, you know, that we saw them doing. And now I'm just like, okay, I'm a little tired. You know, it's just like, and now I'm a little fatigued over it now. And so huge shout out to AEW Dynasty. That's going to take place tonight. Of course, they're in Canada. Ew. I don't even mean that. Canada didn't deserve that. I'm sorry. Canada didn't deserve that. That was just a random reaction I just, you know, spit out there. But before we get into the predictions on WrestleMania, man, CM Punk's promo, man. CM Punk, Pat McAfee going back and forth. That's fun. We need that. And honestly, Pat McAfee, for obviously, you know, whole lot of lies with Pat McAfee in terms of like, I called Ram and I said, hey, I want people to come in for 20% off. You know, can you pay to get people in to come to WrestleMania? So now tickets are 20% off. You didn't call nobody. You know, it's like, you didn't call nobody. Huge shout out to C Fluid. Moxley is like that house guest that just doesn't want to leave. Exactly. Moxley is like that house guest that would leave, but you see their clothes are still around. You're like, oh, I guess they're coming back. You know, it's just like, I guess they're still here. You know, it's just like, dang, man. How can I miss you when you don't go away? Please go away. Same with FTR. When you lose, go away. You know, it's like there's a couple of these guys that just need to go away for a split second. Chris Jericho. Not Ricochet. Ricochet already went away. Ricochet already went away, and we still want him to go away. So this is like, man, this is a tough one. This is a tough one. But, man, CM Punk went scorched earth. CM Punk went absolutely scorched earth, and it was a whole lot of fun to see, honestly. It was needed. It was needed. You know, he was said that Roman Reigns was eating dog food for a weird old man, of course, referring to Vince McMahon. Well, let's go all the way to the beginning. First off, when he started off by saying that there's some ghosts, you know, that haunt. You know, there's some ghosts that haunt me to this very day here. You know, there were some things that was supposed to happen, some ghosts, you know, kind of hinted at, you know, the match that he was supposed to have with Crispin Wall. I think that's crazy. You know, I think that's even crazy to bring up in itself. But how would you would only know that if you did some research. You would only know that if you were a real legit wrestling fan. I didn't know that when he said it. I had to go on Twitter to find out from some serious wrestling fan. I was gonna call him a nerd, but you know, we're all nerds. It's like but he said The Rock was a famous Hollywood actor, which is true. You know, nobody really caring for The Rock. Nobody really looking for Dwayne Johnson right now. Nobody's looking for Dwayne Johnson at this point in time. But he just went absolutely scorched earth, man. And I loved it. I loved every bit of it. My favorite, and I talked about it before, and I reviewed it, so I'm not gonna get into it too much. But what was the quote? I said I was gonna get it tattooed. Hold on, I said I said I was gonna get this quote tattooed because the way CM Punk said it, I was like, man, that's nasty. Let me see. Let me see. There it goes. Being hated on by losers is the price I have to pay because I'm not one of them. Damn, that's so cold. Like, I'm sorry. Like, CM Punk was in his bag when he wrote that. That's sick. But huge shout out to Justin. Past promo has been awful. The fans don't need to be told that the product sucks when the lack of reactions on most nights tell you all you need to know. Exactly. And Pat getting shoved in here and Cody saying the obvious that nobody wants you here and you being shoehorned in here. You know, it's the writing on the wall. Cody, like, of course, everybody in the back and Cody, everybody knows how we feel. And Cody voicing it, and yet nothing's changing, isn't helping the case. You know, it's like it doesn't really help anything at all. So that's really the biggest problem with this whole thing. Like, Cody can say all the things that we want to hear, but it still isn't going to change nothing. And I watched this YouTuber. Huge shout out to James Romero. I do watch his YouTube channel on a solid basis, and I got to give him credit because he brought this up. He said, if Pat McAfee said, if Randy loses, we won't be seeing Pat McAfee at all in WWE ever again. Pat McAfee and Randy Orton versus Cody Rhodes and Jelly Roll is scheduled for Backlash. You kind of just gave away that Randy Orton is winning this match. Now, we kind of already knew that Randy's going to win. Like, I feel like we all kind of have it in the back of our minds that Randy's winning this match. But, brother, why would you say that? Why would you say that at this point in time? Knowing what we know already, especially why would Jelly Roll still be here if we weren't building up to nothing? You know, it's just like the only celebrity that I guess the only two celebrities that I really don't have a problem with, IShowSpeed, Speed, because I think IShowSpeed Speed can really get down and wrestle. He's been training as well. He's also been with Randy Orton. So I definitely think IShowSpeed Speed is going to show us a little something. I think he's going to show us something to the level like Bad Bunny. Like, I don't think he's going to be like, you know, Logan Paul type level, but I definitely think he's going to be like a little above Jelly Roll, but at the same level as like Bad Bunny. That's why I see IShowSpeed Speed coming in the ring. And Lil Yachty, because Lil Yachty ain't wrestling. Lil Yachty's just, yeah, Trick Williams is going to take over the world, and we're going to do everything, and I just got to, we're just trying to beat up this gingerbread man. Like, you know, it's just like, that's all Lil Yachty just come in here and squeak a little bit and boost up Trick Williams. That's all Lil Yachty want to do, man. It's just squeak his way through WrestleMania. And I don't even got a problem with Lil Yachty even showing up. Because like I said, he's not doing nothing. He's not fighting. You know, he just got kicked in the face. I will say that. You know, so that means he definitely might be interfering in this match. But I don't really necessarily have too much beef with Lil Yachty and I Show Speed. I really didn't have too much problem with Jelly Roll until he started being all in the videos, all on TV, all on the cameras, dancing. I was just like, man, he even lied to us because he even pointed at Cody Rhodes and was just like, this isn't about me. This isn't about Pat McAfee. This is about you and Randy. No, it isn't. Then why the hell are you still here? Then why is Pat McAfee still here? But honestly, this doesn't make any sense. Huge shout out to C Fluid. By the way, I'm tired of seeing Jelly Roll on SmackDown every damn week. I'm tired of seeing a lot of these celebrities every damn week. We don't have to see Lil. As much as I like Lil Yachty in terms of what he's doing with Trick Williams, as much as I like I Show Speed and how they got him with the Vision, I don't like that he's paired with, I like that he's paired with the lower tier of the Vision. I like how WWE worked around that because shoot, the biggest stars, you probably had the biggest plans for Braun Breaker and Bronson Reed at Mania. You probably had one of the biggest plans for one of them boys. And yet, of course, something turns awry. You lose both of them. Logan Paul and Austin Theory are your low tier. I mean, I Show Speed, he's athletic, he could go. Why not put some eyes on these guys? While Logan Paul is already another social media influencer too. Hell, I think WWE was cooking with how they kind of fixed all that up with the Vision and putting I Show Speed in there, especially looking at the clips of I Show Speed wrestling. I Show Speed is athletic, so that's one of the. But we don't have to see him every day. We don't have to see him every week. I don't want to see I Show Speed every week. I don't want to see Lil Yachty every week. I don't want to see Jelly Roll every week. Why do we have to keep naming all these celebrities? Why is there so many freaking celebrities here? It's like that's just the worst part of this whole thing. Huge shout out to Devin the Tribal Chief. I think it does help because before Pat McAfee, Randy was getting heavily cheered. Now he's getting booed while Cody is getting cheered because fans agree with Cody and Pat. I just think it's just so like he's just stating the obvious towards us and nothing is getting done about it. Like it's kind of like how we reacted when Cody just gave up his WrestleMania spot to The Rock. And the fans just completely crapped all over it. And then we got an immediate flip around. Cody, nah, screw that. I want to fight Roman. Y'all over here trying to finesse me. Y'all tried to brainwash me, and I'm back on my bull, man. R.I.P. Dusty. It's just we got an immediate turnaround. We got an immediate shift because they knew that this wasn't what we wanted, and they ruined a really solid storyline. This is something that's happening again. It's like I feel like they're ruining a really, really great storyline. All it had to be was Cody, Randy, a leader, a mentor that just went berserk and just crashed out on his mentee. And he's just like, hey, man, you told me. I gotta hear these voices in my head, man. It's just like, and if they start cheering Randy, that's fine. Because at the end of the day, I would have just twisted it and been like, I would have made Cody like a baby face, but he would have got booed. I would have just flipped it around at that point. Because I would have made it to a sense of like Cody trying to get Randy help. It's just like Cody just being like, hey, man, you don't need to do this. Like, hey, I know I told you to listen to the voices, but you tried to kill me, brother. It's just like, you tried to kill me. Like, let's think about this for a second. I would try to make Cody try to be some type of voice of reason to at least try to get a little bit of turnaround so we can still get an amazing pop at Mania. Because Randy's winning. It's just like Randy's winning at this whole thing. And of course, I'm fantasy booking. It's just like I'm just spewing. Right now, I'm not surrounded by writers, or I'm not surrounded by people to tell me I'm stupid. It's just like, so I would have loved for them to do something other than having Pat McAfee come on and just kind of shoehorning himself in and doing exactly what we had a problem with The Rock. The WWE just never learned the lesson from The Rock. WWE never learned their lesson from The Rock, and Pat McAfee coming in is just so random. The funniest thing about that was Pat McAfee going out and saying, I'm going to go save the day with Randy Orton. That was my favorite part. Him coming out of the truck. I think he just got done talking to Jelly Roll. I'm going to go save the day with Randy Orton. That had me cracking up. Huge shout out to Justin. Randy is at a point in his career that nobody wants to boo him. The only reason why people are booing him now is because of Pat. Pat is there and trying to act edgy and break the fourth wall. Yeah, Pat doing a whole lot of cussing, shooting, holler, but that's his thing. He does it on ESPN. It's like, so I mean, I gotta give it to Pat. Like he be straight up, but oh man, like it's just, I don't know. I think Randy being booed, being cheered at the end of the day, a reaction is a reaction, and I thought I feel like Randy, no matter what, if we would have booed Randy to WrestleMania or we would have cheered Randy to WrestleMania, at the end of the day, we would have cheered as soon as the bell rang. As soon as the bell rang, the count hit 3, and Randy was holding up that title. Didn't matter if Randy was a face or a heel. I fully believe, regardless of what he was, face, heel, or dog, Randy Orton would have been cheered as soon as that bell rang, and he would have been the victor at Mania. Huge shout out to Devin the Tribal Chief. So what's exactly the issue with celebrities? I mean, we've had celebrities for Mania 1, 2, 21, and even 40. And it's the celebrities that mainly like Jelly Roll that is just showing up constantly 24/7. Like it's guys like I Show Speed that I don't have a problem with because they're showing that they're putting in the work to get into the ring. They're showing that in Lil Yachty, they're showing that they've watched the program for so long. Hell, there's for numerous years. You know, when WWE does their little crowd shots, you know, their camera shots of the celebrities in the crowd, Lil Yachty 9 times out of 10 is there. You know, so I will give it to him. Lil Yachty is 9 times out of 10 there. It's just the fact that we're seeing them constantly 24/7. Then they put themselves in the middle of the Mania matches, the matches that a lot of these wrestlers strive for, they dream of. And now a celebrity and quote unquote outsider, you could say, some of them, and I won't necessarily call them that because, like I said, some of them are training to be in this position, like I Show Speed, like a Bad Bunny, you know, it's just like and so on and so forth. But there's a lot of these guys that come in, shoehorn their way through, and then disappear. Like, why would you, like Travis Scott? Why would Travis Scott put his nose in the business of John Cena and Cody Rhodes, put himself in one of the biggest moments, one of the biggest moments in WrestleMania history, and John Cena pretty much beating Ric Flair's record and as a heel being a WWE champion, and now Travis Scott has just disappeared, never to be seen from again. And of course, we don't want to see from him. We don't want to see from him ever again at this point in time in the wrestling ring right now, at least. Whatever he does afterwards, if he wants to go and do a concert, sure. If he wants to come in to be a manager again, sure. But you're shoehorning yourself in one of the biggest stages. If this was at a Backlash, you know, it's like if this is at not necessarily a SummerSlam, I think I'd be a little hot if it was like a SummerSlam too. But if it was like at a pay-per-view that we know needed a little bit of a boost, that know we needed a little bit of a pick-me-up, then of course, yeah, I don't have a problem with it. You want to put a whole lot of celebrities on Great Balls of Fire? Sure. Sure, go ahead. You want to put a whole lot of celebrities on Saturday Night Main Event? Sure. Like, I love that. It's just, and that's all it is. Like, and I don't necessarily think that the celebrities itself is necessarily ruining WrestleMania either. Because, like I said, I think there's a bright side in I Show Speed. I think there's a bright side in Lil Yachty. Hell, I even think at some point in time there's a bright spot in Jelly Roll. That sounds weird, you know. It's just like I do think there's a bright spot in Jelly Roll. It's just the fact that now it's just an overabundance and it's getting a little bit out of hand, especially when it seems like you don't really trust your talent to be shoehorned in that position as well. Like, well, just pretty plain and simple here. How come we can't get Carmelo Hayes versus Trick Williams? Straight up, no Lil Yachty. How come we just can't get them one-on-one? You know, how come WWE can't trust Trick Williams and Carmelo Hayes to put up a WrestleMania match? Now, granted, they're young, you know, literally fresh out of NXT, but the story's there. The story is literally there for you on a silver platter, and they immediately turn left and went the other direction. Why don't you trust your talent? You know, it's just like, and that's all it is. And I think that's a great conversation to have, Devin the Tribal Chief. I think that's a really great conversation to have in terms of celebrity, because a lot of people like to complain about celebrities, but a lot of people don't really necessarily have the legit reasoning. They're just like, oh, well, you know, it's not necessarily a bona fide reason as to why they don't want to see the celebrities gone. They just miss out on their favorites. When in actuality, you know, it sucks that Braun Breaker, it sucks that Bronson Reed isn't going to get a chance to get their Mania moment. But man, to throw I Show Speed in there, I definitely think, I won't necessarily say, I think it puts a Band-Aid on a huge damn. You know, it's like, it puts a Band-Aid on a huge damn. You know, I do think we'll still be entertained by it, but of course it won't be to the level of what we expect. So honestly, the celebrities themselves, and it also sucks that they're just gone the next day. That's what really is upsetting. They're just gone the next day, and the people that miss out on the opportunities, like a Carmelo Hayes, like a Jacob Fatu last year, you know, it's just like, you know, I feel like they get left in the wind. They have to come back to work the next day. Carmelo Hayes has to come back to work next week. You know, Carmelo Hayes has to come back and do his due diligence and do his duties, you know, when it's all said and done. Lil Yachty probably gets to leave after this is all said and done, you know. Man, and that's just the dirty part of it all. And of course, Lil Yachty has nothing to do with us not getting Trick Williams versus Carmelo Hayes. It's just the simple fact that the story was right there. You could have had something with them too. Instead, you decided to go the safe route and give us Sami Zayn versus Trick Williams. And of course, Sami Zayn, more experience. He's been in the main event of WrestleMania, so he knows how to put together a match. So it's understandable. It's just like I completely I see where WWE is trying to go, but I just don't think celebrities need to be shoehorned in these certain storylines. Huge shout out to Justin. Randy and Cody had a story that was too easy. I just threw too easy in there for you, Justin. That was too easy to tell. It has so much story to use, and they mucked it all up with celebrities. The issues with the celebrities is they don't need to be a part of the show, plain and simple. Just tell everyone the roster they have isn't good enough, which is bullshit, which is just a bullshit way to look at it. And yeah, fully agree. A huge shout out to Seafood. Jacob was at Mania last year. Yeah, I misspoke. That was my fault. I remember Jacob getting beat down and he missed an event, but I misspoke and said it was Mania, so that was my fault. But I fully agree with you, Justin, 100%. That's 100% showing that, and I also feel the same way when they bring old ass celebrities in. Y'all remember not back in the day, like it was mainly like maybe 10 years ago when they used to just shoehorn legends in. Like, I love Kurt Angle, but we didn't need to see Kurt Angle wrestle with the Shield. It's like we didn't need to see Kurt Angle as often as we did. We were looking at Kurt Angle. We were looking at Brock Lesnar. We were looking at a lot of the Goldberg. It's just like we were looking at a lot of the legends coming in and also squashing down our heroes. Goldberg had no reason to just squash the Fiend in like 10 seconds. It's like that wasn't supposed to happen. Like that shouldn't have happened. And I feel the exact same way with WWE bringing in the legends of old. There are some legends that deserve their spot in the spotlight. They deserve their time in the spotlight, like us. Trish Stratus. Trish Stratus came back. Thank you, Trish. Had a whole 6-month run and left. Helped Zoe Stark out, left. Beautiful. That's what you do. It's not like a Brock Lesnar. It's just like, all right, who am I going to squash first? Samoa Joe, 30 seconds, gotcha, get him out of here. Braun Strowman, 45 seconds, get him out of here. Kofi Kingston, Big E, New Day, get them all out of here. I'll take them all out at once at this point in time and give me them belts. So it's like, there was a point in time, WWE just loves to take the safe route and shoehorn people into easy stories that they could have made in their sleep, stories that they could have written in their sleep. And they just completely dropped the ball. And I think that's just what's happening with their celebrities. I just think they're dropping the ball on storylines that could have easily been told. I think that's all it is. I don't think people necessarily hate the celebrities in itself. It's just you have these stories on a silver platter. Cody and Randy is written to you on a silver platter. I don't even think you need to have anything crazy with a Trick Williams and a Sammy. Let's get out of Carmelo Hayes. I don't even think he needs to do anything too crazy with a Trick Williams and a Sammy. Trick Williams have been baking Sammy for the past couple weeks. It's like Trick Williams have been absolutely dusting them on the microphone. So there's no point in having an extra voice there, at that point in time. Huge shout out to Devin the Tribal Chief, because I love your take on this. I think honestly why fans have an issue with celebrities is because the overall buildup of Mania. To go back to Vegas instead of New Orleans and the high ticket pricing. Oh yeah, look, and that the business side of Mania has also put low morale to this event. Like the low morale to this event is strictly based. It's not because not necessarily because of the work itself as well, because we have a lot to complain about when it comes to storylines and whatnot. But the business side of things, ticket prices, Mania being moved to Vegas, just absolutely not. Mania potentially being in Saudi Arabia at a point, like, come on now. What are we doing? What are we doing? And I don't have a problem with WrestleMania going to Saudi Arabia, but man, if y'all thought ticket prices were high here, shoot, y'all gonna have to dream about going to Saudi Arabia to go watch Mania like that, because that ain't happening. But it's just like the business side of WWE has just been so whack. And of course I feel like that has also been, of course, the huge factor to the low morale of things. Hell, excuse me. I was just talking about what was the event? I don't want to necessarily say it was WrestleCon, but I want to say it, but I don't want to throw that name out there. But there was a wrestling event. Oh, it was C2E2. That's what it was. C2E2 was out here. Man, CM Punk and AJ Lee a piece for you to take a picture of them was $200. I'm sorry, brother. Look, I love y'all, but I don't love y'all. I don't $200 love y'all. I love y'all, but I don't $200 love y'all at all. You know, I was like, man, I was like, ticket prices to even look at y'all, to even breathe around y'all is probably ridiculous. So it's just like, honestly, just the build up to Mania itself, and of course the way WWE has handled business has just been so, I won't necessarily say dirty, but just grimy, especially when they try to gaslight you early on when they say that they made this ticket prices, you know, for a family of four, you know, for families for families to make it more affordable for families to go. And it's just like, brother, I didn't even go to, like, I wanted to go to the Elimination Chamber so bad, so bad. But when I saw that nosebleed tickets were $300 coming up close to $400, brother, why would I go? Like, why would I go to see that? Like, this isn't WrestleMania. It's like, this isn't Wrestle. This is Elimination Chamber. I understand this is the PLE after, you know, PLE before, pay-per-view before. Like, I understand that, but still, that's bull. Like, it has never been that high. Like, I don't want to say never, because I just started going to events as of 2 years ago. But as of 2 years ago, shoot, they ain't never been this high. You know, it's just like, so honestly, it's just been absolutely unreal with the way WWE has just been handling business so far. Huge shout out to C Fluid. Goldberg has won more titles in WWE than WCW, but had the nerve to complain about his retirement match. And that's the thing. Goldberg just soft, man. Goldberg a hoe. Like, Goldberg get on my last nerves, man. Goldberg get on my last nerves, and I don't care. He probably still got old man strength. He could probably take me down. I don't care. I'm gonna still talk the talk. Goldberg, he get on my last nerves. Like, Goldberg got always something to complain about. And if you do come at me, I got Bret Hart on speed dial, brother. We got Bret Hart on speed dial. Bret Hart will take care of you because he got problems with you. Get the Hart family on you, brother. But outside of all that, yeah, like WWE, the way they do business has been rough as of late. And so the morale has been insanely low. And so even though I'm still pumped I'm always going to be pumped for WrestleMania. Like, I feel like it's rare, like WrestleMania and Wembley, you know, because I do think those are huge events. You know, I feel like I'm gonna always be pumped for those events. I feel like I never know when to be pumped for AEW pay-per-view, because you never know when they're going to be absolute gas or just absolute hot dog water. And so, like, AEW pay-per-views, I feel like you got to watch them all. You know, like, you can't miss a pay-per-view because you don't know if you're going to miss an absolute banger or not. Huge shout out to Justin. Roman and Punk had a great story to tell when they chose to go down the road of calling Punk old. Newsflash, Roman, you're not that young yourself. That's a fact, man. And Roman is literally, well, I think he's like, what, maybe a couple years younger? Like, CM Punk age. CM Punk, damn, CM Punk 47? Jesus Christ, oldie. Roman Reigns, yeah. Oh, Roman Reigns age, I'm sorry. I put Roman Reigns title defense. Ew. Roman Reigns age. 40. Oh, he got about 7 years. I still call it. Look, see, Roman, I ain't gonna lie, I'd be that petty too. I'd be that petty too. You got me by 7 years. What up, Unc? What up, Unc? Hey, what's that on top of your head? Is that you balding up there, Unc? You balding up there? What's up with that? What is that? I'm sorry. If I'm Roman, I'm sorry. I'm going there too. I can't blame Roman for that. I'm sorry. I can't blame Roman. And Roman's showing the gray. Like, he is kind of bold for calling somebody old when your gray follicles are showing. You know, you got a little gray there, buddy. You know, I don't want to go there. I don't want to go there, but I got to take it there. And you the oldest out of your brother. No, John Moxley 42. Well, 40,2. He's not 42. But yeah, I was about to say, you're the oldest out of the Shield. He probably is, depending on when his birthday is. Huge shout out to C Fluid. You got to take out a small loan to go to a WWE event now. That's a fact, man. To sit in the nosebleeds, like I can't imagine what the live experience, the fan experience people. I can imagine what they're paying now. Like, it is crazy how Cody Rhodes was explaining to Pat McAfee. You know, we could get you a belt. You know, it kind of looks like the same one. Which, hold on. How dare Cody Rhodes try to talk about my belt people like that? How dare Cody Rhodes try to shade somebody like me, man? How dare Cody Rhodes try to shame belt holders like me, man? How dare you? I hope you get your ass beat at Mania now. I hope you lose. I'm sorry, I had to put that out there. I'm sorry, I just thought that was bogus how he said that. When he said, "Hey, we'll get you a belt. It looks like the real thing," I was like, "All right, you've gone too far. Stop it right there. Stop it right there." Oh, I gotta show y'all what I found. I was actually in my basement. I found this. This is actually from, I was a freshman in college when I got this. So that's what, 2016, 2017. Look at this. I gotta show y'all this. I gotta hang this up somewhere. Hold on. Who remembers this? Who remembers this, man? Oh my God, I gotta hang this up somewhere. They make sure you ain't booty. Man, that was, I'm sorry, that was top tier, bro. That was top tier. I was like, I just found a gem that I gotta hang up somewhere. And I remember having because this came, I believe this came in like a cereal box. I bought the cereal box. It had this, it had socks. Like it was, oh my God, man. New Day was on a war path. New Day made millions. I don't, man, New Day made millions. Like New Day made millions at that time. Huge shout out to Devin the Tribal Chief. I thought they were closer in age, but dang, 7 years. That's what I said. Like, yeah, Roman Reigns, 40, May 25th. CM Punk, dang, 1978. Ooh. No, okay, I'm sorry. I took it too far. It's like I took it too far. I'm on Facebook. I got family on Facebook watching. I don't want to do that. I don't want to do that. But yeah, 1978, CM Punk, Roman Reigns, 1985. Ooh, 7 years. But that's the thing, like Roman's old. Like Roman is still old. You got to give it to him. And I'm talking about old as in like athlete old. Like when you're an athlete, and of course in wrestling, we always talk about wrestling being in reverse. You know, it's like as you get older, you're pretty much you're closer to your prime as you are. Because once you hit like 35, oh man, you should be champion by now. You should be on a long run right now. You know, if you're doing as you should. You know, it's like doing as you should at that point in time. But yeah, when you're in your 30s, man, that's what you should be, like on a war path. And of course, your 40s. You see CM Punk right now, 47. I mean, he's been this man's been a living. I'm not, I don't necessarily say a living legend. Let me slow down here. I don't want to be too heavy on the meat riding. Boing, boing. I was like, I don't want to do anything too crazy. But yeah, I mean, you gotta give it to CM Punk, man. You gotta give it to CM Punk. They have talked their way into making this insanely entertaining. They have talked themselves into making this insanely entertaining. And this is going to be a 2-star match. This is going to be a solid 2-star match, if I do say so myself, man. Should I go over WrestleMania? I was like, should I review WrestleMania? I've already been on for an hour. You know what? Let's review WrestleMania. Let's do it. Let's just go over WrestleMania for a little bit. Because I do got to go to work in a little. That's the only reason why I was looking at the clock and I'm like, I got to talk for 10 minutes. Let's talk for 10 minutes. I got 10 minutes left. Let me see. What is it to talk about? Let's go on. What is it to talk about? Because there would be something. I would have something on my heart. I would have prepped for this, but we just went on an absolute tangent here, and I completely lost my way. But there's always a crazy amount of news going in the wrestling. And even, huge shout out to Royce Keys. Royce Keys debut. Mark Henry actually came out and said he's going to be a good one. Royce Keys, look, man, it's been a minute. It's been a minute. I don't know why WWE just didn't trust him enough, to have him debut sooner. Like, I don't know why they kind of just had him behind the fence for a very, very long while. They had him locked down for a minute, because we haven't seen him since the Royal Rumble. So it's like, dang, what are you doing? Of course, he's been doing main event as well. He's been working smaller. I don't want to say smaller shows, but he has been doing events. But we haven't been seeing much of Royce Keys. And then, of course, he finally shows up. And we see why, of course, the hype is still around somebody like a Powerhouse Hobbs, or excuse me, around somebody like a Royce Keys. I'm expecting him to do some great things. Do I expect him to win this Andre the Giant Battle Royal? Can we talk about that a minute? Let's talk about that honestly, because I thought this was going to be something nice. I thought the Andre the Giant Battle Royal was going to be something legendary. Like when I saw the buildup around the Andre the Giant Battle Royal, I believe it wasn't that the opener to Mania when it first came out. Was it the opener to Mania? Or was it the opener to the pre-show to Mania? It was one of the two. Either that or was the opening to Raw. One of them was something. One of them. But I just vividly remember, Cesaro just picking up Big Show and just launching him over way better than what Chris Benoit could have done when Chris Benoit at the Royal Rumble just had Big Show by the neck, just kind of just trying to pull him down. Big Show just dramatically just dragging his way off, dragging his big ass down. It's just like it was much better than what Chris Benoit did. Cesaro just picked him up straight up and just tossed his ass out of there. And that's exactly where I was going at, Justin. It really feels like Royce Keys is going to win the Andre the Giant Battle Royal next week. That's exactly, I feel it. I feel it in my bones. I was shocked that Carmelo Hayes won it. Shit, I was shocked that Carmelo Hayes won. He was shout out to Justin. It was originally on the pre-show. Thank you. Yeah, I was like, I could have sworn it was on Mania. But yeah, it was on the pre-show. There it goes. And I remember it being mad early. And I was like, Cesaro just picked my boy up and just like tossed him out like he was just nothing. Like it was Cesaro, and he didn't look like he broke a sweat at all. I was like, that was dope. And now we're getting into the beginning of the SmackDown. And yeah, I want Royce Keys to win. I definitely want Royce Keys to win. Royce Keys is definitely going to have to do something powerful. Of course, we're going to have to find out one of the biggest men. Omos might show up tomorrow. Omos might show up on SmackDown and get tossed out by Royce Keys. But I definitely see Royce Keys getting the win here. Power Keys. I'll never forget. I was on the phone with Devin when I was in Arizona, and I was like, Devin, man, I just imagine getting chased. Like, just imagine like you wake up out of a heaping sweat. It's just like you're laid out in the ring after just getting jumped. You're thinking your life is over. You're like, man, all I gotta do is just roll out of this ring and just get out of here with the quickness. And all you hear is powerhouse. You're like, yep, it's raps. Like, get me out of here, man. I'm finna get spine busted. I'm finna get power slammed. I'm finna get just ragdolled. Hold. It's just like, I'm finna get hold. HEUX''D. I'm finna, can I write that in the chat? Hold. Yeah, maybe that's not how you spell it. Because maybe that's not how you spell it. Let me stop. Let me stop before I hurt myself. But that's about it. That's all I got for today. That's all I got for today, man. Huge shout out to C Fluid. Mark Henry is just trying to be positive for the brother. Royce isn't going far with the. Did I read that right? Did I read that right? Mark Henry is just trying to be positive for the brother. Royce isn't going far. Royce isn't going too far with WWE. What makes you say that? How old is Royce Keys? Let's do that. Royce Keys age. No, he's not. No, he's not. No, he's not. No, he's not. Hold on. No, he's not. How old is Powerhouse Hobbs? It doesn't tell us the age. That's not true. If that's true, how old Powerhouse Hobbs' age? Okay, Powerhouse Hobbs is 35 years old. Okay. I typed up how old is Royce Keys. It said Royce Keys is 43 years old. I was like, Powerhouse Hobbs is not 43 years old. I was like, if he's 43, scrap this whole thing. I was like, look, I was gonna hit y'all with well, Damian Priest won at 40. Like, I was gonna hit you with some bullshit. Well, Damian Priest won at 40. So I mean, look at the brace. It's like, yeah. I was gonna hit you with the biggest reach of 2026, man. But honestly, I think Powerhouse Hobbs can do something. Do I see future champion? Depending on what they do. Definitely depending on what they do. If he can improve in the ring, because right now it's kind of a little touch and go. But It all depends. He's not no Braun Breaker. You know, if you put him with Braun Breaker, put him with Obafemi, he's definitely a tier below those guys. But he just got there. Give my brother some time. He still has to learn the WWE system. He's been locked into AEW. AEW and WWE are just two totally different things, just two totally different brands. And I feel like the only reason why WWE guys gel so well when they get into AEW is because they know a lot of those guys. You know, like Bryan Danielson worked with a decent amount of those guys, except for Kenny Omega, which is why when they got the match itself, it was a huge pop. It was a huge reaction. You know, or it's just a lot of guys that they really wanted to work with. You know, so I definitely just look at it 43. I don't want to. No, don't tell me that 43. I don't know. No, he's 35. He's 35. Powerhouse Hobbs is 35 years old. 1991. I'm just. Please tell me he was born in 1991. I think it said, look, that's not right, man. That's not right. Honestly, Hobbs is 43. He's not 43. He's one of those like Cuban athletes. We're just gonna put Powerhouse Hobbs as one of those Cuban athletes that just lied about their age. Satchel Paige, he wasn't 69, he was 59. Like, stop it. He's like, stop it, man. He's like, he's not 16. You know, no, he's like, he's not 23, he's 18. Just look at him. That's not a full beard. Just yank it, it'll come off. It's fake. Stop it. But even then, huge shout out to Justin. Don't get what people were expecting. Do you really think the guy who only had one WWE match was going to get this astronomical reaction? Just chill and don't jump to conclusions too soon. I fully agree with that. The huge reaction was there at the Royal Rumble. We haven't seen him since. So I wouldn't expect for him to get a huge reaction, you know, just randomly showing back up. You know, and yes, it was his hometown. Like, I understand that. So, of course, you would expect him to get a bigger reaction. But still, we still haven't seen the man. Maybe if he was putting together some quality matches before, you know, before the build-up to this, you know, things would be different. He probably would have had a bigger reaction. But, you know, Powerhouse Hobbs, we got time. He's not 40. He's 35. Powerhouse Hobbs is 35. We is not 43. We're not doing that. We're not doing that. Hey, if he's 43 to you, he's 35 to me. Look, that's what we doing here. But what's your proof to this? That's the thing. That's what I'm looking at. Royce. And I'm talking about what's my proof to this in terms of like Google. Because I'm getting both. I'm getting both 35 and 40. I'm getting 41, 43, and no, let's not do this. Let's not do this. While public data revealed the list. No. What site is this? I don't agree with this site. I'm on WWF Old School. This is WWFOldSchool.com. Here's how fans reacted to this development. So Dave Meltzer is trying to attack Powerhouse Hobbs because he's apparently in his fort. What did Dave Meltzer say? Wait, Dave Meltzer, nah, because if Dave Meltzer said it, it's obviously true, right? So he's like, we gotta see. What did Dave Meltzer say? Because if Dave Meltzer out here lying on my man's Powerhouse Hobbs. The investigation showed that no individual named William Hobson born in California in 1991, whereas record for the name appeared from 1985, confirming that Key's actual age is 41. Notably, this administrative update does not affect Hobbs' current status with WWE, where he debuted at the Royal Rumble. So Meltzer is trying to attack Powerhouse Hobbs / Royce Keys because he's apparently in his 40s and not 35 like everyone was told. How long did Dave know this when Hobbs was a part of AEW? Why does it matter as Hobbs is 40? That's the dumbest thing to do, is try to attack someone for. Dave Meltzer himself is pushing 70. That's crazy. It's so weird that bad things keep coming to light about talent in AEW. Hobbs is 41. He's 35! He's 35! Hobbs is 35. We're not doing this. Powerhouse Hobbs is 35. Final answer. Black don't crack. No, but in all seriousness, and all jokes aside, look, if Powerhouse Hobbs is 41, or hell, even if he is 43 itself, I mean, he still has a decent amount of time to make it to do some damage in the wrestling industry in WWE. Of course, he still has some ways to go, in terms of like getting to like the level of like an Obafemi or a Braun Breaker, but still, Powerhouse Hobbs is still going to be dominant. Powerhouse Hobbs is still going to be that guy. He's going to amount to something, and we're not going to speak this negativity into existence. C Fluid, damn it, man! How could you? Huge shout out to Justin. We don't acknowledge anything Dave Meltzer says. That man is on AEW's payroll and tries to play White Knight for AEW when Hobbs left to go to WWE. That's a fact. And he is on AEW's payroll. Like, how much more proof do we need than him literally talking on this podcast, and then in the background, you have an incoming call from Tony Khan? Like, what? Brother, come on now. That told me, no, that didn't tell me everything I need to know. I knew everything I needed to know, like from the get-go, about Dave Meltzer. Everybody, I think 2-3 years ago, caught on to what Dave Meltzer was doing. Especially, it started with those star ratings. And 100% started with those star ratings. I remember me and Devin used to go back and forth. Look at these star ratings, Devin. Look at and that's when we were, okay, I can admit, we were hating on AEW at a point in time. And I think we started hating on AEW once they started being like, man, once they started turning on CM Punk, and the whole CM Punk started happening. A huge shout out to Justin. Tony was calling Uncle Dave to tell him to check the check cleared. I'm telling you. I'm saying, oh, look, I'm glad you said that. Before we go, we got to talk about this. What was Pat McAfee on? I know Pat McAfee usually is like a stoner. He gets high a lot, but for him to be on national TV to tell Cody Rhodes, no, let me play this. I feel like this is worth playing. This is worth playing because my jaw hit the floor when he said this. My jaw, and y'all know where I'm going at. Y'all know where I'm going at. Where's it at? It's right here. No. Here goes. This is crazy. This is crazy work from Pat McAfee. Share my screen. Here it goes. Tell me. Y'all can see this clip here. Y'all see this frame here. Y'all already know what he says. This is the craziest thing I've ever heard on WWE television. Hold on, before I get to that, huge shout out to C Fluid. I wish Hobbs the best. Seems like a nice guy, but that reaction is probably will be as good as it gets. Oh, so you're basing this off a reaction. No, but in all seriousness, he'll be fine. He will be fine. And then you put him with the right people. WWE are gonna work their magic on Powerhouse High on Royce Keys. Especially if you put him with Ricky Starks or Ricky Saints, who's 36 himself. Ricky Saints is 36. He's touching 40 himself. 30 knocking too. So it's like, 40 is knocking too. So it's like, if you put him next to his counterpart, Ricky Saints again, they could do some damage as well. Come on now, don't you putting shackles on my man Powerhouse Hobbs, man. Release them shackles for my brother. Huge shout out to Justin. Pat McAfee was probably like Mike Epps. He's on everything. I'm telling you, man, he was nuts. Listen to this. My jaw hit the floor when I heard this.
You going to suck Triple H's ass?
What? You're gonna what?
Triple H's ass?
You're gonna do what?
Going to suck Triple H's ass?
I was floored. And then he followed it up. Hold on, he followed it up.
Deep in Paul Levesque.
He followed it up.
Get nice and deep in Paul Levesque's cheeks.
Nice and deep into Paul Levesque's cheeks. That is absolutely unreal.
Boing, boing.
Oop, that was the wrong one. That was the wrong one. Absolutely unreal. That was crazy. The other one was probably better. I like the other one better. But that was crazy. I was like, suck triple on national television. Like, that was one of those things where, like, if you got kids watch, like, I'll never forget. I was watching Raw with my parents, and The Rock called Umaga a shrugged up monkey penis. And I looked at my mom and I'm like, what's a penis? And she was like, yep, all right, we done watching wrestling. And I was like, no, like I was on a wrestling band for a long while because I didn't know what it was. Like, I was like, I'm just repeating what The Rock said. I'm like, this is what he called Umaga. And he put me on a band, and my mom walked past I was watching wrestling in her room one day, and she walks past, she sees DX, of course, chop doing their chop, and I'm sitting there doing it with him, and I'm like, suck it, and she's like, all right, you're banned. Like I went on temporary bans. I had to go on temporary wrestling bans whenever crazy stuff like that happened. And that was floored. Huge shout out to Justin. Not gonna lie, your boing boing was way more thing. It was crazy. I was like, I just can't believe you said that on national television. Suck triple, like, no, nice and deep. Like, and that's a bar. That's a bar. Nice and deep in Paul Levesque's cheek.
Boing boing.
No, I don't want to do it. Like, I don't want to. That's not me saying it. I don't want no part of that. It's like that. I can leave that to Stephanie. That's the Stephanie job. But it's just like, outside of that, it's just like I don't like Pat McAfee, in terms of what he said about CM Punk. He didn't lie. He didn't lie about CM Punk at all. Not one bit. But damn, man, it dragged on. That whole thing dragged on for far too long. Huge shout out to C Fluid. Yes, right, sir. Hobbs will be doing his thing on WWE. Hobbs will be doing his thing on WWE main event. That's crazy. That's crazy work, brother. That's crazy work. And I disagree. And I fully disagree. I definitely think Hobbs is going to be a nice, solid mid-card guy. Not him being in his 40s. I don't think he's going to go on a nice Damian Priest run, because Damian Priest had to build up in NXT, and then, make his way over. Damn, it's raining. He had to make his way over to NXT. He had to make his build himself in NXT before he could go up and, of course, be the big dog and win a world title and, of course, win Money in the Bank as well, before he could do anything of that, before he could get that elevation. Powerhouse Hobbs, unfortunately, his resume and reputation in AEW isn't necessarily going to hold out, over here in WWE. So that, I feel like that's the bogus part of it all. At least Ricky Saints, he at least did a little something and still has some, and he had friends in high places as well. Friends with Bailey, friends with Cody Rhodes, so Ricky Saints was going to be that guy, and Ricky Saints was going to get his time to shine. And Ricky Saints had a little bit of a resume coming out of AEW. Powerhouse Hobbs, not too much. Of course, riddled with even Ricky Saints riddled with injuries, but Powerhouse Hobbs riddled with injuries on TV one day, gone the next. Like, not really a whole lot going for him. So he didn't really have a lot, to build on when coming into WWE. So I definitely think he was got the short end of the stick here in terms of how he was portrayed in AEW and then coming into WWE and trying to be not necessarily portrayed the same, but like Jade Cargill, you knew Jade Cargill wasn't going to go to NXT with how she was being portrayed in AEW. AEW showed her as like, she was Miss AEW. She was Miss Women's Division. She was tearing through everybody. So, we weren't shocked that Jade Cargill just went straight to the main roster. Like, that was going to happen. Powerhouse Hobbs, you're not going to be gifted that. It's like, I'm sorry. You're not going to be gifted. I think the only person in AEW, if they were willing to leave, that could make a move like that and say, fuck, say screw NXT, I'm going to go over to WWE, MJF, Will Ospreay. I think Konosuke Takeshita could get away with that. I don't see Okada going to WWE, so I wouldn't say, but I think Konosuke Takeshita could possibly get away with that. Guys like that. But I don't necessarily see Royce Keys being the guy to come over there and do that. You need to stop. You need to stop. Royce Keys, future Andre the Giant Battle Royal winner and future Speed champion. You need to stop. You've gone too far. See, I'm used to Devin driving me crazy. You've officially, this is I think the past, every Sunday, for the past month, every Sunday for the past month, it's been you, C Fluid, that has had my voice been raised to the highest of altitudes. It's like have this vein over here on my neck popping out. It's all you. It's your fault, brother. You drive me crazy. You need to stop. Royce Keys is gonna be a dog. Matter of fact, here, let's put a wager on it. Look. Let's put a wager on it. And I'm not talking about like a heavy wager. I don't put like crazy money. I'm talking like me either doing something or like $2. You know, it's just like, you know, because I was like, I care. Or even this. You live in the Northwest. You know your way around the Northwest Indiana area. What you East Chicago? You remember this place formerly known as Los Camales? It's a place in East Chicago. I don't know what it's called now, but it's called Los Camales. I put a Los Camales dinner, my brother. A Los Camales dinner that Royce Keys will do some type of damage within the next year. Within the next year, I'm going to stop. No, you started. You've already started, sir. You've already started. But that's the thing. I'll put a dinner on it. Let's put dinner. I put dinner that Royce, if you fully believe that Royce Keys is going to be just completely hot dog water, I'll put a dinner on it that Royce Keys, at least within the year, and I'm talking about, like, I feel like, and I'll be fair, like, and I'm talking about in terms of doing some damage, like showing up on regular basis, you know, at least being in the title picture. He don't got to win the title, but being in the title picture, at least showing that he can get a reaction, showing that he can get a pop. And I think me and you can at least come to a review that, you know what, Powerhouse Hobbs did his, you know, or Royce Keys definitely did his thing this year, or Royce Keys, he definitely didn't fare too well this year. I feel like I can be genuinely fair in saying that, oh, Royce Keys, even though he did fight for the title, he didn't really do nothing this year. Let's go out to eat on me. You know, I feel like I could be fair in that. I think I could be fair in that. Yes, sir. We got a deal. I like that. I think me and you by April, not April, WrestleMania, but let's say this upcoming WrestleMania. How about this? I like this one better. I have so much faith in Royce Keys. I think he will be in WrestleMania next year. How about that? There's still some Los. There's Los Camales in Chicago. Let's go to Los Camales in Chicago. How about that? I fully believe by next year, Royce Keys will be on the match card of Mania. Night 1, night 2, it don't matter. I definitely think Royce Keys will be in Mania next year. Lunch on that. I like that. Dinner on that. I like that dinner. I like that bet. And we'll hold on to it because I don't plan on ending this podcast anytime soon. You know what I'm saying? I plan on doing this podcast for the long term. So I like that deal. I like that deal. It's safe. And I get to hang out with you. Pause. You know, it's like, and we get to hang out, spend some time together.
Boing, boing.
I had to use that. I'm sorry. I had to press that one. I'm sorry. I had to clown for a second. But I like that deal. I definitely like that deal. So you guys heard it here first. And I think we got, and Justin here's a witness. You know, like we got witnesses here too. So I think if there's other people that are just like, hey, Izzy, you're tweaking. Royce Keys definitely sucked. Or, you know, like, hey, Royce Keys definitely had a solid. I feel like other people can definitely say, you know, can definitely give their take about how Royce Keys was. So I like that. I like that bet. Look, I went live for an hour 30. I didn't even think I was going to be on that long, honestly. I actually got to get ready for work. I got work in 15 minutes. I don't got work in 15 minutes. I got to leave for work in 15 minutes. So thank you guys so much for tuning in, man. I really appreciate you guys. Y'all flooded this chat up. And it was so much fun. We got a whole lot done. Huge shout out to Getcho. Huge shout out to Just, man. Huge shout out to Justin, of course, the boss, the Redeemer, Devin, the Tribal Chief. Of course, give those guys a watch. Well, they're going to be live and on stream at their watch parties. Of course, Circle of Debate will have their AEW Dynamite watch party on their channel with Justin being involved. Of course, Devin, the Tribal Chief, is going to have an AEW Dynasty watch party. Be on the lookout for that. That's going to be a whole lot of fun. Getcho, just subscribe to Getcho because Just is just an absolute legend. He's just a funny human being that can absolutely, I don't think he could do no wrong. But then a huge shout out to C Fluid for just always giving great takes, always not. And that's the thing I love about C Fluid. C Fluid don't back down, man. C Fluid has an opinion and he stands on it. No matter what you say, no matter what you think, he is going to drive you crazy because he fully believes and he fully has, and he has facts to back it up too. Like, it's not like C Fluid is just coming in and just giving you bull jive for rage bait. C Fluid is coming in here and just giving you logic and he's giving you explanation. So I love when C Fluid comes in here and talks wrestling because it feels like it only makes me better, but it also gives great conversation as well. And just gives a whole new different ideas into just wrestling itself. So thank you guys so much for flooding the stream. Thank you guys so much for joining in. And I'll see you guys next time.